Hi everybody. When I was in college, just like you, I had a subject, very interesting subject called Fashion, Culture and Society. Not here in India, yahan pe I don't think such subjects are existing. But first day of class, I went in and my professor asked us to all do an activity. So the activity was you go outside to a crowded place and click a picture of a group of people standing together. Any place, could be any place of your choice. So I was very creative, very enthusiastic about it. I was like, you know what, I'll go to the metro station. So I went to the metro station, I went inside the metro, and I clicked a picture of a fully packed metro. Came back to class the next day and asked my professor, what do we do now? This professor says, use any software, any app on your phone, blur out the entire picture. So we did that, all of us did that. 99% of us had this very weird image which was blackish, grayish in color. Shades of black, grey, white and brown at best. That is because most of us in today's day and age have started wearing blacks and whites and browns at best. And just to prove that point, I am also wearing black and white today. So, how many of you today morning when you were getting ready thought about what kind of event am I going to, whom am I going to meet, what am I going to do throughout the day, and then decided what you're going to wear? Most of us, to some degree, think about what am I going to do today and dress accordingly. Have you ever gone to meet your friends and let's say you're going for brunch, you dress accordingly. If you're going for a meeting, if you're going for a formal function, you dress accordingly, right? So you are, of course, expressing yourself. And if you ask anybody, they will say, if you ask them, what does fashion mean to you? Most people would say fashion is a means of self-expression. That's one of the most common answers you will get. So while yes, you thought about what you're going to wear today morning, and that of course involves some degree of self-expression, because when we talk about personal style, the phrase has personal in it, so it's all about you. It's what you're going to do, how you're going to express yourself, what holds value for you. Think about your grandparents, right? Most of our grandparents knew how to knit, knew how to stitch. How many of us today know how to knit our own clothes? That was the purest form of self-expression. It was the purest form of displaying who we are. Imagine a grandmom stitching something, knitting a sweater for you. She would select the kind of wool that was needed. She would select the color. If she's stitching something on a handkerchief, she would know what she wants to make on it, a flower or a bird, or write your name on it with different colors. That is the purest form of art. If I give all of you a paper today and I tell you you can write anything, you can draw anything under the sun, use any colors you want, chances are most of you would have different things drawn. And that's simply because things that hold value for us are different, right? Somebody might draw a flower, somebody might draw a family. That's the purest form of self-expression, when you have all the freedom and you can choose what you want to draw, what you want to create. This is a sweater, a bright purple colored sweater that my grandmom made for my mom, and then it got passed on to me. And I have a very special place in my heart for hand-me-down clothes, because I feel like all of these clothes have a story to tell. Now, this sweater, I don't expect any of us to make in today's day and age. Well, because obviously, one, not too many of us know how to knit, and two, we don't have the time to sit and make our own clothes, do we? None of us here have the time for that. And if I ask how many of us know how to knit, probably 1%. So of course, while knitting and while all of these, crafts are very close to our heart, while they hold a lot of value, is it feasible for us to do in today's day and age and to make our own clothes over and over again? Probably not. And so what do we rely on? We rely on the easier way, which is to just buy things online. It's more practical, it's feasible, it's cost effective. You don't have to step out of your house, you just order things online and they come to you. And that's where tech has played such an important role, right? You don't have to do anything. It all comes to you so easily. You don't even need to make your own choices. You get personalized recommendations on most shopping apps. They'll show you stuff you like, stuff that you might like in the future, based on your previous orders, what you might want to buy in the future, recommended for you, suggested for you. So with all of these options, think about it. Do you really need to make your own decisions? No, you just buy what it says that you're going to like, right? So you get personalized recommendations, the biggest pro of all. You also get virtual try-ons nowadays, which is super cool because let's say you're buying makeup products. You upload your photo, it's going to show you how different eyeshadows will look on you or different shades of lipsticks are going to look on you. That is so amazing. 80 years ago, nobody thought this would ever happen. 80 years ago, nobody thought you could sit at home and just order clothes online and they'd come at your doorstep. So this is another pro. Then we've got online shopping assistants. For those of us who are not really into fashion, we don't understand fashion, we don't know how to put together our outfits, you have chatbots to do that now. You go onto these platforms, you ask them, I want a birthday party dress. They're going to show you 700 different options for birthday party dresses. Then you get personalized recommendations, it'll feed the whole thing together for you and it'll serve it to you on a platter. So that makes life super, super easy. But having said that, nothing ever, if it has too many pros, it will obviously have a few cons here and there. And those cons, we really need to understand, are they worth the pros? There is a cost we pay for all of these pros that we get. The first one is homogenization due to AI and trends. Now think about it, when you open your favorite shopping app, you are served with so many options on the homepage, right? And most of these are driven by what is currently trending. That's how every time you open the app, you'll have something new coming to you. Hardly ever will you see something being repeated. That is because the algorithm knows, it knows that you're here to buy more, it knows that you're here to look at more options of clothes, so it'll show you new options every single time. And trends are cyclic, right? So what worked maybe, 20 years ago, it'll come back. What's happening right now, it'll go away, the trend will vanish, and then it'll come back a few years later again. But think about this, is if everybody is wearing the same clothes, if everybody is going with the same trends, if everybody is following the same procedure, then really where is our self-expression? Because fashion, of course, is a means of self-expression. So then how are we expressing ourselves if we're only relying on the recommendations that AI platforms are giving to us? Here is something that was trending a while ago. So we have old money aesthetic and the mob wife aesthetic. The old money aesthetic was doing rounds and rounds on Pinterest and on Instagram and on all of these platforms. This is basically all about, understated elegance and not too many bright colors and really sort of subdued aesthetics and wearing really posh kind of outfits. So a lot of people were searching for that, and so all of these fashion platforms were also giving you a lot of old money aesthetic related outfits. And based on this, that bright purple sweater that my grandmom knitted, I would have never worn that if I just followed the old money aesthetic, just because it was trending 3 months ago. So based on that, I should have probably thrown it out, not worn it. And then a few months later came the mob wife aesthetic. So now we're no longer talking about old money, we're talking about the mob wife, which has a lot to do with, think about it as the wife of a mafia. How would she dress? Huge fur, big goggles, sunglasses, voluminous, like a well-done blow dry, right? And a lot of pearls going on, high heels. That's how she would. Animal print, cheetah print, tiger print. That's currently what's going on right now. So all of these fashion apps are going to give you that. 6 months later, this will also disappear and you'll have something new. So if you blindly keep following trends because that's what's trending and that's what's current, there will come a time when your wardrobe will have nothing but clutter, stuff that you don't resonate with. And everybody is going to be dressing the same. Fast fashion is another problem. These apps know that you want to shop. So how do they produce so much so soon? Have you thought about it? They rely on inexpensive methods of production. That means relying on sweatshops, exploiting cheap labor that they find in countries such as ours. And to make so much so soon, to give you that variety, what happens to the other side? On the other side is a 50-year-old man whose life depends on a traditional embroidery, for example. Chicken curry, take that example. It's a famous embroidery from Lucknow, and imagine that man, because all of us, if we start buying fast fashion, this man has reduced his earning. His livelihood depended on that. His children don't want to follow that craft anymore. What happens to him? Think about that for a second. And I understand sustainability is not always cheap. It sometimes comes at a cost, and it's expensive, right? Buying sustainable clothing, buying natural fibers, expensive. We will come to how we bridge the gap, but before that, fabrics and our well-being. Have you thought about what you're wearing today, what fabric it is? How many of you, when you were buying what you're wearing today, the top that you're wearing today, looked at the material of the top, figured it out, thought about it for a second and thought, will this suit me? Will this work for my body? Not too many of us. The thing is, let's imagine a school student wearing a school uniform for about 12 to 14 years of his or her life. If that is a natural fiber, it's going to be very, very good for their body. And clothes fibers have energy. Have you ever dressed well, put on your favorite outfit and felt really good about yourself and felt like you're going to ace the day? Most of us have. However, think about this. Natural fibers, how many of you here like wearing polyester, nylon, rayon, or are wearing that material right now? If most of us look at our labels, it is going to be a synthetic fabric. Myself included, even I'm wearing a synthetic fabric right now. Now, if you wear this in the long run, it will have an impact on your energy system. Clothes have energy. If you're somebody who wears such synthetic fibers over a period of time, stop doing that. For one single day, wear a loose linen shirt and see how comfortable that is. Think about that child who was going to school, 12 years of school life, 14 years of school life. This child is wearing, let's say, a synthetic fiber every single day. What happens to the health of that child? And a generation, policemen wear their own uniform, firemen wear their own uniform. If there's synthetic fiber present, it is going to have an impact on our health as a whole. So then how do we bridge this gap between technology? Because obviously technology has pros, but technology also has cons, and the biggest con is fast fashion, material, the health of us. So the first thing that you can do is, of course, upcycle your clothes. Now, most of us have so many clothes in our wardrobe. The thing is, I understand, buying sustainable is not the cheapest option, but what you have in your wardrobe right now, you don't have to pay anything to upcycle it. Add brooches, add patches, add labels, stitch on top of it, make it your own, add your personal touch to clothes that you already have in your cupboard. Today, when you go back home, open your cupboard and see what you have. See the stuff you can personalize. That's what's personal style. It's adding your own personal touch to your clothes. The next time you buy something online, pause, take a step back, okay, and consider your choices. Think about it. Is it just something that you're buying because the platform gave it to you? It said it's recommended for you. Is it that? Or is it actually adding value to your cupboard? Are you actually making use of it? Will you be making use of it in the long run? And if it's just a trend, if it's just old money aesthetic or mob wife aesthetic, then you know exactly what to do. You shut the tab and you don't look at it again. Because if you do again, you'll have a wardrobe full of stuff that you eventually don't even wear. It's going to lie somewhere at the back of your cupboard. So think about it. Is it just a trend, or is it something that will actually serve me in the long run? There's a 30-wear rule. If you wear something for about 30 times, if that's how much you make use of it, then it's a good thing in your wardrobe to add. But if you're not going to wear it even for 30 times, it's good to just not buy it at all. And then finally, label logic. Today, if even 2 people go back home and read the label and actually think, is this good for my health in the long run? I think I would have made my point. Thank you so much.